We've been talking about the 4 types of giving: tithes, first fruit, alms, and sowing. Kind of started this last week. And last week we talked about the tithe and what it is and all that kind of stuff. This week we want to talk about first fruits. And a lot of people will say, why are you breaking this down into the 4 types of giving and all that kind of stuff? You're being very legalistic about this, about how you give. You should just give out of a heart, just that you're not compelled to give, that you just give freely and all that kind of stuff, and just give. Don't make it so complicated and all that kind of stuff. Well, God obviously thought it was important because He put it in His Word, and He said, here's the things that I want to be done and how I want you to handle them. And so finances, money, is probably one of the greatest things that He talks about throughout all of Scripture. That there's more Scripture about your stuff than there is about anything else. There's more Scriptures about money than there is about hell. And you'd think that there'd be more Scriptures trying to prevent us from going to hell. Well, He knows if He can get a hold of your finances and that you can get a hold of your finances. He doesn't get a hold of them. You get a hold of your finances. If you can get a hold of your finances, then He can prevent Satan from screwing with you, from messing with you, of stirring you up in areas that he loves to play. See, the financial realm has been Satan's realm that he loves to play with, because he knows that can be a real hook and a real string that he can pull on you. It's one of those buttons, you know what I mean? You ever have people that know how to push your button? Know how to pull your chain, jank your chain? They just say that one thing and they just push your button and they set you up. Well, that's what Satan does with money. He just pushes your button and he gets you going. So God was very specific how we are to handle our money. And last week we talked about tithing, which is the foundation. If you don't start there, the rest of this doesn't matter. But anyhow, we want to talk about first fruits. So first fruits means first taste. Simple enough. That's, if we can, define the word first fruit, it means first taste. So it is a portion of any increase that you get in your life. It's that first portion of it. So we can talk about a raise or a bonus or any other source that something unusual other than your normal income comes into your life. So here's my way of explaining this to myself. This is the way I understand first fruits in me. Because when we look at Scripture, we're looking at an agricultural, world where it's a lot about, the first grain offering, the first fruit of your vine, the first fruit of your sheep, and all this, your fleece, and they're just all these things. And so let's bring it up to today, and so that we can understand this. And here's how I understand first fruits. Is that, let's say your income is $100. You can break that down to a day, a week, a month, whatever. It's $100. And so you get an increase. You get a raise. And so you get another dollar. Well, let's use $10. You get another $10 raise. So you get a 10% raise. Woo-hoo! That's pretty good. I would, everybody would love a 10% raise. So you get a $10 raise. So last pay, you got $100 in your pay. This week, you're going to get $110 in your pay. And every week thereafter, you're going to get $110 in your pay. Simple enough? I'm not trying to make this hard. I want to make this as simple as possible. So first fruits is, last week I had $100. This week I have $110. So my first fruits is that first $10 that I get increased to me. So from a scriptural standpoint, that is my first fruits. So if I take that first fruits and I offer it to God, and I offer it in a I do it then. You know what I mean? I do it now. I do it fresh. I do it when it comes to me first. That's when I do it. I don't postpone it for a month and then give a first fruit offering, because it's not first fruits anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's when it first comes into your hand. That's when it is first fruits, first taste. So when I get that extra $10, the first week that I get that, that's my first taste of that. I'm going to have it from here on after, but that's my first taste. So if I take that faithfully and with thanksgiving and offer that $10 to the Lord as my first fruits offering to Him, then I am giving a first fruits offering. I'm doing it correctly. Does that make sense? Now, what do I do about next week when I have my $110 pay? Well, now it's just simply tithing on my $110. So now my tithe went from $10 to $11. 10%. Is that simple enough? I mean, some people say, well, that's really legalistic. That's really, holy cow, you're really counting your pennies, really doing that. No, it is honoring God. Because when I honor Him and say, Lord, if it wasn't for you, first of all, I wouldn't have had the $100 a week at all. But you have honored me, you have blessed me, and you have given me an increase, and you have given me increase into my life, and I want to honor you with my first fruits offering. Is this good? Are we all good? I don't want to make this difficult. I'm trying to keep it simple. And so, well, what about I get a tax refund? Well, here's the issue with a tax refund. That's not an increase. You already earned that money. You've already paid your tithes on that money. You just gave it to the IRS to hold for you until you did your tax return and got your money back in the form of a refund. That's what a tax refund is. It is not an increase in your life. I'm trying to think of other scenarios. If you get a bonus, you've done a good job, and your employer gives out bonuses, and they give you a bonus. Is that bonus a first fruits? Yes, it is. Do I need to give all of it? No, you don't. Does that make sense? Let's say you're making that $100 a month and going along, or $100 a pay, whatever that pay is. Some people make $100 a day. Some people make $100 an hour. Some people make $100 a minute. So that using the $100 thing is just determine how many zeros you're going to add to that to be what you get. So if I'm rolling along and I'm making my $100 a week or $100 a pay, I keep saying a week and I don't mean to do that, my $100 a pay, and all of a sudden the boss comes and says, man, you're doing a great job, I want to give you a raise, here's 10% raise, you get $110 now. So now I get that first one, that's my first fruits offering, and then from then on I'm paying my tithes on that new income, on that new pay. But then at the end of the quarter, the boss says, man, you've been selling like crazy. You've really been out there selling, and you've really pulled in a lot of jobs and really have increased. And we want to give you a bonus. Here's a $1,000 bonus. Okay, now what do I do with this? What do I do with that? It's a one-time bonus. What do I do with that? And this is where there is some scriptural reference to that there is some first fruits reference to that. And we could get real technical, and I don't want to. It would take too much time, and you're all like, let's go home and eat. I'm tired. I want to get out of here. But that bonus, if there's a portion of it that's in your heart that you want to give as a first fruits, a thank offering, an offering of worship to God, then do that out of your heart. And that can be a first fruits offering. Get it? But let's just say it's in your heart to give 10% of that. I want to give 100% or $100 of my $1,000. I want to give $100 as a first fruits offering, as just a worship offering, as just a praise offering to God. then do that as a first fruits. Well, then what do I do with the rest of it? It's yours. It's yours to do with it. Well, am I commanded to tithe on that? That's in your heart to do. You know what I mean? That bonus stuff falls into an area where it's a condition of your heart. Where's your heart with that? It's like going to a restaurant and giving a tip. You ever, like electronic ones where they show if you gave 3%, 5%, 10%, they give the percentages at the bottom how much of a tip that would be, and you can punch that button and give that tip to that. There's also a little button there, it's called Other. Use that one as much as possible. But it's what's in your heart to give a tip. What's customary, what's reasonable, it's what's in your heart. If you've been blessed, then why would you not bless somebody else? All right. I did have Romans 11:16 says, For if the first fruit is holy, the lump is also holy, and if the root is holy, so is the branches. So it's about if the first fruit is holy. If it's holy to you, if it's special to you, if it's something that's of significance to you, and you want to honor God with that, then that has made your lump. If you want to bless God, then your lump is blessed. Your roots are blessed. Your fruit is blessed. Your branches are blessed. I want to get it all blessed. And it's not like I have to pay God so that He will bless all of that, but I need to honor Him. And I need to recognize where that first fruit, where that bonus, that increase, where that increase in pay came from. I need to acknowledge it and honor it now, quickly, right now. When it comes in my hands, I need to honor Him with that. And that's the importance of first fruits. It's how you react to an increase in your life first. If the first thoughts about it are, woo-hoo, I get to go buy a new dress, or I get to go buy a new tool, or I get to go, then you've missed out on an opportunity to have your first fruit be a blessing unto God and to be a way of honoring Him.